Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about everything that I read in the month of September. September was an excellent reading month for me. I read a lot of really good books. I have kind of a crazy star rating average for this month, and I'm ready to get into it and explain and talk about all the really great books that I read this month. So in total, I read 12 books that equaled out to 5,551 pages. As always, thank you Storygraph for existing. Without you, I would not have these stats, and I love stats, and I don't have the time to create stats, so thank you so much for existing, because without you, these graphs would not be possible. When we look at mood, I had 9 labeled as dark, 7 labeled as tense, and 5 labeled as mysterious. When we look at page number, I had 2 or 17% that were under 300 pages, 8 or 67% that were between 300 and 500 pages, and then another 2 or 17% that were over 500 pages. For genre, we had 5 that were labeled fantasy and horror. So that's my favorite. Those are my favorite genres. So to see that like actually be reflected, I read what I really wanted to read last month. That's why it was such a really good month for me. Yeah, so 5 labeled as horror and fantasy. Romance, we had 4. And then coming up in third place tied with 3, we have LGBTQIA, thriller, and historical. When we look at star rating, okay, this is crazy because the average star rating is 3.5, which is high. Like that is probably the highest you guys have ever seen it on this channel. For each possible star rating, 1 book fell into each at least. And then I had 2 books at 3 stars, so that was like a little bump, but then I had 7 books rated 4 stars. I've never seen that many 4 stars in my life. I'm a very picky reader, and it's amazing to see that I read so many good books last month, like so many 4-star books. Like I'm just excited about that. I love that I'm like getting more into what I like, and I was able to center a lot of the challenges around that. Yeah, I'm very happy and hype about it being a successful month. So I am just going to go in order of what I read. Usually I'll do star rating, but I think that since the star ratings are so funny this month, I should just go in order. So the first thing that I read, I was at the beach. It was beach vacation day, beach vacation week. And the first thing I read was Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. It's like a love/anti-love story. I honestly could barely give you a synopsis of it because it's just about these 2 people, and they know that they love each other, but they're not sure like how to stay together. It's like a little bit like Normal People, and I'm gonna be honest, I sped read through the ending because I was like ready to get it over with. I wanted something new to read because I really loved the first 2/3. I thought that the discussions they were having were so enthralling and unique, but then like once we got to the end, I just like stopped caring. I was like, I'm ready to get through it, so I kind of rushed through the ending. So I don't have like a perfect synopsis for you, but yeah, it is Normal People, but for people who stay together in the end. I don't know. A lot of really intelligent conversation, really good discussion about life and how the world works, and like overall it was a really fun read, but it was a little bit of a damper to read first day at the beach, so I think that that's why it didn't sit with me super well, but I still thought it was really enjoyable. Okay, so next, this might be controversial. Tell me if this is controversial because I'm new to this space. Like, okay, I'm not new to fandom. I'm not at all. I've been there. Okay, I had a Tumblr. I had multiple Tumblr accounts dedicated to different things, okay? So this is not new for me, but I do feel like I'm new to the talk about what I'm reading space. So let me know if I should not include these in these videos if you feel that way, or if you know that that's like the way of the law of the land of fandom and fan fiction. But anyway, I finished a Hermione fanfiction. I read Secrets and Masks. This is well over 1,000 pages. I have been reading this for several months. I have finished many books while reading this. I'd take breaks, go back to it. Like I would read it for 15 minutes, I'd finish 3 or 4 books, and then I would go back to this fan fiction and read it for like 2 days straight. They have this listed on Goodreads and on Storygraph, so that's mainly why I added it on here. And any other Hermione fan fiction that I'm reading that I come across, I will add it on those apps just because they're there and I like to track what I read. But if it's not there, I'm not gonna like beat myself up about it. even though I read like, you know, 1,000, 2,000 page book technically. I feel like there are some rules about like not counting these as books or not like adding them on Goodreads, but I don't know why. I don't get it, and I don't know why. I'm just like new to this space. So if you have any insight, let me know what the tea is on that. I would like to know. So a quick synopsis of this story. Oh my god. Okay, so it's post-war. Voldemort won the war, and they are still like fighting. Like he is still trying to eradicate muggles, he's trying to get rid of mudbloods, he's trying to get rid of the order because Harry is still like trying to fight Voldemort, right? Okay, but the Death Eaters, like, they are totally running the town right now. So basically what happens is that Hermione gets captured by Draco and his buddies, okay? And Draco is like the deadliest of the deadliest, okay? He is considered the Demon Mask, which is Voldemort's right-hand man, okay? They're all Death Eaters, they all have masks, but the masks, they will be different, like, depending on the hierarchy of the Death Eaters, and Draco's number one. He's the big baddie boy, okay? So they capture Hermione, and they decide, since she's, like, the smartest and the best fighter and, like, a healer, and she's just, like, so Hermione, right? They decide to put her under the Demon Hex, which is only controlled by Malfoy. And what it is like he literally controls her, okay? So what it means is like they can go into battle, they can be at a fight, and she will like literally kill muggles, she will literally kill members of the order, okay? Like it's like really dark like that. Like she has to low-key turn on her people that she knows are good, but she has like no control of it because she's under the Demon Hex, right? So that's like part of the angst, that's part of the hatred towards Malfoy, because he's literally making her kill people that she normally would be fighting alongside with, okay? Obviously their relationship blossoms from there, okay? I thought that this book had such good use of side characters. Like we really fall in love with his friends because that's like his family, because his parents are dead, so he only has his like two friends, and like one of them is married, and so like they're all like really a strong conglomerate of like they stick together, okay? There are other people that are within the Death Eaters and within the friend group who are trying to betray Voldemort, so like we just like go from there. Like it's so, I mean, it's 1,400 pages, clearly a lot happens, okay? It was so good though. I really enjoyed it. Not the greatest 10 out of 10. Like I'm still trying to read Manicold. That book stresses me out. It's so freaking sad, and I know that's gonna be a 5 stars, so when I compare it to that, I have to give this one a 4 star because it's not as grand as Manicold, but like it was still a great time. Like if you want a good introduction to Hermione fanfiction, Secrets and Masks, I would suggest it. I didn't mention there's really good plot twists and really good redemption as well, okay? Okay, so next I read The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. I wanted to love this so bad because it's based in the Appalachian Mountains that I grew up in, so like it really hit home for me. I thought that it was really accurate, like the storytelling. She's so good and so smart. Like I don't know if she just has a lot of knowledge or if she just does hella research before she writes her books, but she gets it, okay? I will always trust a T. Kingfisher book. Even if it's not good, I still trust it. Like I know she put the work in. So this one is about a girl who is asked to clean out her dead grandmother's hoarder house. Her dad is like very busy. He's like, can you please go clean up grandma's house and everything? So she's trying to like get through all of the hoard and all of the mess and everything. And in it, she finds letters or like a journal that her grandfather wrote. And her grandmother was like mean. Like she was a mean old lady, okay? It's not surprising that the grandfather had this secret journal so that he could like tell his real feelings while trying to like survive this mean woman that he was married to, okay? And we go from there. Within the notebooks, it points to the fact that there's like something sinister in the forest, like the, you know, it's the Appalachian Mountains, so there's like woods everywhere. And in the notebooks, it's saying that there's like something sinister going on. There is really good creepy imagery. Like I will give that to this book. The imagery was absolutely freaky. Overall, this book was fine. It didn't enthrall me as much as like her other books have, and I read another one of her books in this month as well that we'll get to that I liked a lot more than this one. It felt like a chore to get through it. Like I was trying so hard to stay concentrated and not pick up another book, so it felt like work to read it. It wasn't my favorite, and that makes me so sad because the setting was like totally my thing, but yeah, overall it was fine. Next, I read The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. One of the best books I've read this year, hands down. This is the story of the revenge of a spirit. It spans multiple decades, and the POV switch between all of the parts in this book is a gut punch. Like, I will think about this book forever. I would like to own it, maybe notate it. I can definitely see this being in like my favorite books of 2024. I loved reading it. Such a good story, super creepy, traditional horror, cultural horror. Like, I love reading about that shit. Next, I read The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. This is about a man who finds himself tethered to a family that is dying off in a rotting, spooky home. You will feel freezing cold while reading this. This is the perfect kind of book to wrap yourself up with and like have a hot drink while you read it, because you will feel it in your bones how damp and desolate this haunted house is. Overall, it honestly underwhelmed me severely. I feel like we were building up to something really great, and then it left me super high and dry in the end. I mean, I was enthralled the whole book because the buildup was so good, but then at the end I couldn't. Here's the thing though, because I think it was extremely effective because I'm still thinking about it. Like, I'm still reeling about this book even though nothing crazy really happens, in my opinion. I've read another one of her books that was Plot Twist City. It was so fun. Like, felt like I was running while reading this book. I felt so amped up. And I think I just had really high expectations for this one instead of completely enjoying it for what it was. And it still sticks with me. Like, I still think about it from time to time. So I think it honestly was very effective. It just did underwhelm me at the end. Okay, next I read The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. This was a lot better than the Twisted Ones, in my opinion. So this is about a woman who recently went through a divorce, and she moves in with her beloved uncle who owns a taxidermy and oddities museum shop. Not really a shop, I don't know, maybe you can buy the things there, but it's just like he has ton of shit, like a ton of oddities, a lot of taxidermy, like rare animals, mystical animals, and he has them like all up in this museum. She helps to take care of the museum while trying to figure out her life. Like, she just went through a divorce, so she's like, let me just do this for the time being, and she takes care of the upkeep of the museum. Well, he ends up getting hurt. He has to have surgery, so he's like out for multiple weeks, and he stays with like a sister or something like that, and so she is in charge of the museum. She sleeps there alone with all these dead animals and all this creepy oddity stuff. And what happens is that she and a boy from the cafe across the street, they become really good friends, and they find a portal in the back of the museum. And it's basically a portal to a certain kind of hell. It's very freaky. Her imagery, T. Kingfisher, is the queen of imagery, the queen of horror imagery. I love reading her books so much just for the explanations of these creepy things that we're looking at. Like, she creates creatures and she's so good at it. So when I say portal, think about like, so when they're in this hellish landscape, think about it like The Magician's Nephew, the first Chronicles of Narnia book, how there's all those silver pools of portals. That's what I'm talking about. That was the kind of thing that was there. So it's like, oh my gosh, we can't find our way back. How do we get back? We're stuck here. It was so like stressful. I really enjoyed reading it. Okay, next I read The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. One of my fave reads of 2024. This book came out this year. This is one of the best reads of the year. Let me not cover her name up. Okay, I can't help but cover her name because I can't hold this book. Anyway, Monica Kim, there, you can see it now. Creepy and gross and beautiful revenge. This is about a girl and her sister who are trying to grapple with their mom's new boyfriend, and it seems like every man around them has ulterior motives. It reads a little like satire, but it gets extremely gross, and I really ate it up. If you are not an eyeball girly, this is not for you, okay? Next, I read A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is the first S.T. Gibson I've ever read. This is so romantic and haunting and gothic and seductive. I ate it up. I'm sorry I keep saying that. No, I'm not, because it's how I really feel about it. I ate this book up. It was exactly what I wanted to read. It's the story of Dracula's wives, but that is like never explicitly said in the book. That's just what's inferred. We just know him as a man who takes advantage of a lot of people, and the main characters get caught up in his game. They fall in love. They try to escape his clutches. It read so well, literally haunting and beautiful, romantic. Like, I was very seduced by this book. Ooh, next I read Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This disappointed me. I'm so sorry. I wanted to love this. I tried so hard to love it. The first 1/3, I was like getting into it. I could see myself really liking it, but I don't know if it was the writing. I don't know if it was the main character herself. I just I didn't like it. I really didn't. So it's about an orphan girl who lands in the hands of her extended family, who they have, it seems like they have a curse on them that family members have been dying off one by one. Signa, which is her name, which I hated. I actually hated every single character's name in this book. There's another character named Silas. So it's Signa and Silas. I hated it. I hated it. But anyway, she finds it easy to figure out how the members of the family are dying because of like something in her past. Like she's just able to know. But she wants to figure out who is doing it and why they're trying to kill off these family members. She is able to use the help of Death. Yes, Death himself, because he has never been far from her side. That's another part of the mystery, okay? I won't spoil it. Really interesting premise. I love Death. Like, I love when Death is a person. I love when he's there. Like, I don't know. I think that that's a really interesting thing that I don't read a lot in books. So I was heavily interested in this one, but it disappointed me so badly. There was so much to dislike here. The two plot twists did nothing and honestly kind of pissed me off. They kind of made the book worse in my opinion. I just really, like, when we find out who the killer is, it's like, bro, I don't care. It just felt disappointing and weak. And then there's another plot twist between two characters that I hated. I hated it so much. The dynamic was just shot at that point. I liked the ending and I liked the cliffhanger, even though I could seriously see it coming from a mile away. So I'll definitely pick up the rest of the books. I want to see how the series progresses and see how like the relationship with Death progresses. So I will be reading the next books. Oh my god. Next I read Big Swiss by Jen Beagin. This was so insufferable. So this is about a woman who works as a transcriber for a sex therapist. So like he records the therapy sessions and then she transcribes them. She becomes infatuated with a woman that sees him for like his sex therapy services, and she becomes like obsessed with her, and eventually she like bumps into her, okay? And then their relationship moves on from there. There are a lot of really cool instances of her like recognizing or coming into contact with people who, you know, seek this therapy, and she's like in her head she's remembering like their deepest darkest secrets because she is the transcriber for the therapist, of course. This is one of those, I call them gross girl books, but I know that they're also like called like unhinged women books. They're very bleak, very depressing, but I really like a lot of them. I hated this one. This was like the worst I've ever read out of these. You know what I'm talking about? Like My Year of Rest and Relaxation, Bathhouse, Boy Parts, Eileen, those kind of books. Yeah, this is one of those, and I typically adore those so much, but yeah, this was the worst, like I said. And then the final book I read last month was She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This book terrified me, okay? I was so afraid it would disappoint me and never once did it. I was like loving it from the first page and I was like ready. I was being so pessimistic about it. I was like, this book is gonna crush me. It's gonna be so bad. I'm gonna be so disappointed because of the potential we had here. But no, she did that. This book is so good. Literally, this is going to be one of those books that's on like the top 10 books of 2020's decade. This book had better be on there. This is about a little girl living in the year 1345 in China who has to do the most to survive. Her resilience is astounding and is such a shiny beacon. I looked up to her so much throughout this book. She, under the guise of a male monk, joins a monastery to escape death, and she quickly learns that she is willing to do whatever it takes to stay alive and that she is capable of doing hard things. This book was very inspiring to me. Very inspiring to me. I need to own it because I need to highlight it. I was notating all through my Kindle, but it's not enough. I need to write that book up. Wonderful book. There are a lot of queer themes throughout that I really loved. So many good characters too. Like, it really is a character book as opposed to a plot book, which is so funny because the book is chock full of plot along with it. Like, it is such a good combination of the two because the pages are filled with adventure and hardship and war, but then within them we get this beautiful and amazing character study between her and other people in the story. Like, literally, you guys, this book is so good. If you get anything out of this video, put She Who Became the Sun on your TBR. If you have read this book, please comment below because I want to talk about it with someone. It was so good. I cannot wait for the next book. I think it's out already, actually. I think that this is a duology that's completed, so I need to get the second book ASAP Rocky. Okay, that was everything that I read last month. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give this video a like if you liked it. Consider subscribing if you haven't. If you are a return viewer, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support and coming back to watch this video. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.